You wake up every day thinking the problem is money. You tell yourself, if I just made a little more, everything would be fine. You scroll through social media, watching people live lives you want, and you quietly blame your bank account. You say you're broke. You say life is unfair. But what if that's not the truth? What if the real problem isn't your income, but your discipline? That might sound harsh, but stay with me, because this realization can completely change your life. Look around. There are people earning the same as you, sometimes even less, who are saving money, investing, and building a future. And then there are people making twice as much as you, yet living paycheck to paycheck, drowning in debt, constantly stressed. So what's the difference? It's not income. It's behavior. Being broke is often temporary. It's a situation. But being financially undisciplined, that's a pattern. And patterns, if you don't break them, will follow you no matter how much money you make. Think about it honestly. How many times have you said, I'll start saving next month? How many times have you bought something you didn't need just because you wanted it in the moment? How often do you check your bank account after spending instead of before? That's not a money problem. That's a discipline problem. We live in a world designed to make you spend. Ads are everywhere. Buy now, pay later. Limited time offer. You deserve this. These messages are engineered to trigger your emotions, not your logic. And if you don't have control over your impulses, you'll always fall into the trap. Discipline is what protects you. Discipline is saying no when your emotions say yes. Discipline is understanding that just because you can afford something doesn't mean you should buy it. Discipline is delaying pleasure today so you can have freedom tomorrow. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people don't have a money problem. They have a lifestyle problem. You upgrade your phone when a new one drops, even though your current one works perfectly. You eat out multiple times a week, not because you need to, but because it's convenient. You subscribe to services you barely use. You spend to impress people who don't even care. And then at the end of the month, you wonder where your money went. It didn't disappear. It was spent without intention. Financial discipline starts with awareness. You need to know where your money is going. Not roughly. Not, I think I spent around this much. No, you need clarity. Every dollar, every expense, every habit. Because you can't fix what you don't track. Imagine trying to lose weight without knowing what you eat. It doesn't work. The same applies to money. If you're not tracking your spending, you're guessing. And guessing leads to mistakes. But awareness alone isn't enough. You need control. Control means setting limits. It means creating a budget and actually sticking to it. Not just writing it down and forgetting it, but living by it. It means deciding in advance where your money will go, instead of wondering where it went afterward. Most people avoid budgeting because they think it restricts them, but in reality, it gives you freedom. Because when you control your money stops controlling you. Let's talk about impulse. Impulse is the silent killer of financial growth. It's that voice in your head that says, just this once. It convinces you that a small purchase doesn't matter, but those small purchases add up. A coffee here, a snack there, an online order late at night. Individually, they seem harmless, but over time, they become thousands of dollars. And the worst part? You don't even remember what you spent it on. That's the cost of undisciplined spending. Not just money, but missed opportunities. Every dollar you waste is a dollar that could have been invested, a dollar that could have grown, a dollar that could have moved you closer to financial freedom. But instead, it disappears into things that don't last. Now, this doesn't mean you can't enjoy your money. That's not the point. The goal isn't to live a miserable, restricted life. The goal is to spend intentionally. There's a big difference. Intentional spending means you choose what truly matters to you, and you spend on that without guilt. But to do that, you have to cut out the things that don't matter. That requires discipline. Let's be real for a second. Most people don't want to hear this. It's easier to blame the economy, your job, your circumstances. It's easier to say, I just don't make enough. And yes, income matters. Of course it does. But if you don't learn discipline now, more money won't fix your problems. It will amplify them. Because habits scale. If you're careless with $1,000, you'll be careless with $10,000. If you can't manage a small amount, a larger amount won't suddenly make you responsible. That's why discipline is the foundation. It's not about how much you earn. It's about how much you keep. It's about what you do with what you have. You don't need a six-figure salary to start building wealth. You need consistency. You need control. You need discipline. Start small. Track your spending for the next 30 days. Every single expense. No excuses. Cut out one unnecessary expense this week. Just one. Set a simple rule. If you don't need it, don't buy it. Delay purchases. Give yourself 24 hours before buying something non-essential. You'll be surprised how many things you no longer want after waiting. These are small actions, but they build something powerful, self-control. And self-control changes everything. Because once you master your spending, you unlock the ability to build. You can save. You can invest. You can plan for the future instead of reacting to the present. You stop living paycheck to paycheck, not because your income magically increased, but because your behavior changed. That's the shift. You're not broke. You're undisciplined. And the moment you accept that, not as an insult, but as a truth, you take back control. Because if discipline is a problem, then discipline is also the solution. And that means your situation is not permanent. It means you have the power to change it. It means your future is still in your hands. The question is, are you ready to take responsibility? Most people think financial success is about big moves, huge investments, massive income jumps, or one lucky opportunity that changes everything overnight. But that's not how it works. Wealth isn't built in big moments. It's built in small decisions repeated daily. And this is where discipline separates winners from everyone else. Because anyone can make a good decision once. Anyone can say, I'm going to save money this month. Anyone can feel motivated after watching a video like this. But very few people can stay consistent when the motivation fades. And it will fade. That's why discipline matters more than motivation. Motivation is emotional. It comes and goes. Discipline is a system. It stays, even when you don't feel like it. Think about your daily habits. Not your goals, not your dreams. Your habits. Do you wake up and plan your spending, or do you just react throughout the day? Do you cook at home, or do you order food because it's easier? Do you invest a portion of your income automatically, or do you wait to see what's left at the end of the month? Because here's the truth. If you only say what's left, there will always be nothing left. Undisciplined people spend first and save later. Disciplined people save first and spend what remains. That single shift can change your entire financial future. Let's talk about lifestyle inflation, the silent trap that keeps people stuck no matter how much they earn. You get a raise, and instead of saving more, you upgrade your life. A better phone, a nicer car, more expensive clothes, more nights out. On the surface, it feels like progress. But in reality, you're just increasing your expenses to match your income. So even though you're earning more, you're not moving forward. You're running in place. This is why some people earn $3,000 a month and feel broke, while others earn $10,000 and still feel the same pressure. Because the problem isn't how much they make, it's how much they spend. Discipline breaks the cycle. When your income increases, your savings and investments should increase first, not your lifestyle. That's how you create real progress. Now, let's address something most people avoid, accountability. It's easy to say, I don't earn enough. It's harder to say, I'm not managing what I have properly. But accountability is where change begins. No one is coming to fix your finances for you. No one is going to force you to save, to invest, to spend wisely. That responsibility is yours. And that might feel overwhelming at first, but it's actually empowering. Because if you're responsible for the problem, you're also capable of creating the solution. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect conditions. You just need to decide that you're done with the old habits. Let's get practical. Discipline is not just about saying no to things. It's about creating systems that make good decisions easier. For example, automate your savings. Set up an automatic transfer so that a portion of your income goes into savings or investments the moment you get paid. This removes the temptation to spend it because willpower is limited. Systems are reliable. Another system creates spending rules, not complicated ones. Simple, clear rules you can follow. For example, no unnecessary purchases during weekdays. Only eat out twice a week. Wait 24 hours before buying anything non-essential. These rules may seem small, but they create structure, and structure leads to discipline. Without structure, you rely on emotions, and emotions are unpredictable. One day you feel strong, the next day you give in. That's not a strategy, that's a cycle. Now let's talk about something deeper, identity. If you see yourself as someone who is bad with money, you will continue to act that way. Your actions will always align with your identity. So if you want to become financially disciplined, you need to change how you see yourself. Start telling yourself, I am someone who controls my money. I am someone who makes smart financial decisions. I am someone who thinks long-term. This isn't just positive thinking. It's conditioning your behavior. Because when you believe something about yourself, you act accordingly. A disciplined person doesn't have to fight every temptation. They've already decided who they are, and their actions follow that identity. Let's be honest, this journey isn't easy. There will be moments when you feel like you're missing out, when your friends are spending freely, traveling, buying things, and you're holding back. It can feel frustrating, but you need to understand something. Discipline is not deprivation, it's prioritization. You're not saying, I can't afford this. You're saying, this is not important to me right now. Because you're focused on something bigger, freedom. The freedom to not stress about money. The freedom to make choices without financial pressure. The freedom to live life on your own terms. And that freedom requires sacrifice in the short term. But here's the part most people don't realize. Once discipline becomes a habit, it stops feeling like sacrifice. It becomes normal. You no longer feel the urge to spend unnecessarily. You no longer feel the need to impress others. You start valuing stability over temporary pleasure. And that's when things start to change. Your savings grow. Your stress decreases. Your confidence increases. Because you know you're in control. And control is powerful. Let's go back to the original idea. You're not broke. You're financially undisciplined. That statement is not meant to criticize you. It's meant to wake you up. Because being broke can feel like a permanent label. But being undisciplined, that's something you can fix. It's a skill. And like any skill, it can be learned, practiced, and mastered. You don't need to change everything overnight. You just need to start. One better decision today. One expense you avoid. $1 you save. One habit you build. That's how it begins. Because success is not about perfection. It's about consistency. And consistency is built on discipline. So the next time you're about to make a financial decision, pause. Ask yourself, is this helping my future or hurting it? That one question can save you thousands over time. Because every decision matters. Every choice is a vote for the person you're becoming. Are you becoming someone who reacts or someone who leads? Are you becoming someone who spends without thinking or someone who acts with intention? The answer is in your daily actions. Not your plans, not your words, your actions. And the good news? You can start changing those actions right now. Now let's talk about something most people completely misunderstand. The role of income. You probably told yourself this before. If I just earn more money, all my problems will be solved. It sounds logical. More money should mean less stress, more freedom, and a better life. But in reality, more money without discipline often creates bigger problems, not better ones. Because income doesn't fix bad habits. It funds them. If you're already spending everything you earn, then increasing your income won't suddenly make you start saving. It will simply increase your spending capacity. You'll buy more expensive things, take on bigger commitments, and upgrade your lifestyle even further. And before you realize it, you're right back where you started, just at a higher level. This is why so many high earners are still broke. They look successful on the outside. Nice car, branded clothes, expensive lifestyle. But behind the scenes, they're stressed, living paycheck to paycheck, with little to no savings, because they never built discipline. So understand this clearly. Income is important, but it is not the foundation. Discipline is. Income can accelerate your progress, but only if your habits are already in place. Think of it like this. Discipline is the engine. Income is the fuel. Without a strong engine, more fuel won't take you far. It might even damage the system. That's why you need to focus on mastering what you have right now. Not when you earn more. Not someday. Right now. Because if you can manage a small amount effectively, you'll be able to manage a large amount successfully. Let's shift your mindset. Instead of asking, how can I earn more? Start asking, how can I become better with what I already earn? Because that question leads to control. It forces you to examine your habits, your decisions, your priorities. And that's where real growth happens. Now, once discipline is in place, income does become powerful. Because now, every extra dollar has direction. It's not wasted. It's used, saved, invested, multiplied. And this brings us to the next level of financial discipline. Making your money work for you. Saving money is important. But saving alone is not enough. If you only save, your money sits still. And over time, inflation slowly reduces its value. That's why you need to invest. Investing is how you turn discipline into wealth. But here's the problem. Most people delay investing because they think they need a lot of money to start. That's not true. You don't need thousands. You need consistency. Even small amounts, invested regularly over time, can grow into something significant because of one powerful concept, compounding. Compounding is when your money earns returns, and those returns start earning returns as well. It's growth on top of growth. And over time, it becomes exponential. But compounding only works if you give it time. And time requires patience. This is why discipline matters so much in investing. Because the market will go up and down. There will be moments of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Undisciplined people react emotionally. They panic, they sell, they quit. Disciplined people stay consistent. They stick to the plan. They think long term. And in the end, they win. Because wealth is not built by reacting. It's built by staying the course. Now let's talk about another key area, debt. Debt is not always bad, but undisciplined debt is dangerous. When you use debt to buy things that don't grow in value, like unnecessary gadgets, luxury items, or impulsive purchases, you're creating a burden for your future self. You're spending tomorrow's money today, and that creates pressure because now part of your future income is already committed. And the more debt you have, the less freedom you have. Financial discipline means understanding the difference between good debt and bad debt. Good debt can help you grow, like investing in education, a business, or something that increases your earning potential. Bad debt feeds your ego but drains your future. And if you're not careful, it can trap you for years. So before taking on any debt, ask yourself, is this helping me grow or just helping me look good? That question alone can save you from years of regret. Now, let's go even deeper into long-term thinking. Undisciplined people live in the present. They focus on what feels good right now. Disciplined people think about the future. They ask, where will this decision take me in 5 years? Because every financial decision has a long-term impact. That daily coffee, over years it adds up. That unnecessary subscription, it compounds into hundreds, even thousands. That impulsive purchase, it delays your progress. Small decisions, repeated over time, create big outcomes. So if you want a different future, you need to start making different choices today. And that requires vision. You need to have a clear idea of what you're working toward. Do you want financial freedom? Do you want to retire early? Do you want to support your family without stress? Do you want to live life on your own terms? Whatever your goal is, you need to define it, because discipline without direction is hard to sustain. When you know why you're making sacrifices, it becomes easier to stay consistent. Now, let's talk about something powerful. Delayed identity rewards. At first, discipline feels like effort. You have to force yourself to say no. You have to think before spending. You have to control your impulses. But over time, something changes. It becomes part of who you are. You no longer see yourself as someone who struggles with money. You see yourself as someone who is in control. And that identity shift changes everything. Because now, discipline is not something you do. It's who you are. And when it becomes your identity, it becomes effortless. You don't have to fight every decision. You've already decided the kind of person you are, and your actions follow naturally. But getting there requires consistency. It requires showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it, even when it's boring, even when it's hard, because discipline is not exciting. It's repetitive. It's doing the right thing over and over again. And most people get bored before they get results. But if you can push through that phase, if you can stay consistent long enough, you reach a point where everything starts to compound. Your savings grow faster. Your investments start producing returns. Your stress decreases. Your confidence increases. And suddenly, you realize you're no longer stuck. You're moving forward. And that's a reward. Not just money, but control, peace, and freedom. So remember this. Money is not the problem. Income is not the solution. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. And the sooner you build that bridge, the sooner your life begins to change. Because at the end of the day, it's not about how much you make. It's about what you keep, what you grow, and how consistently you do it. And that is completely within your control. Now let's bring everything together, because this is where the real transformation happens. You've heard the truth. You've understood the patterns. You've seen where things go wrong. But none of it matters unless you act, because knowledge without action changes nothing. You can watch all the motivational videos in the world, read every finance book, learn every strategy, but if your behavior stays the same, your life will stay the same. And that's the hard reality most people avoid. They want inspiration, but they don't want responsibility. They want results, but they don't want discipline. But you can't separate the two. If you truly want to change your financial life, you have to stop waiting for the perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. There is only a decision that says, I'm done living like this. A decision that says, I take full responsibility for my money, my habits, and my future. Because once you make that decision, everything shifts. You stop blaming. You stop making excuses. You stop saying one day, and you start acting. Let's make this real. From this moment forward, your financial life is a reflection of your standards, not your wishes, not your intentions. Your standards, what you tolerate, continues. If you tolerate unnecessary spending, it will continue. If you tolerate living paycheck to paycheck, it will continue. If you tolerate a lack of control, it will continue. But the moment you raise your standards, your behavior has to rise with it. That's how change begins. So what does a disciplined financial life actually look like in practice? It's simple, but not easy. You know exactly how much you earn. You know exactly how much you spend. You have a plan for every dollar before the month begins. You save consistently, no matter what. You invest regularly, even if it's a small amount. You avoid debt that doesn't serve your future. You think before you spend. And most importantly, you stay consistent. Not for a week, not for a month, but for years. Because this is not a short-term challenge. It's a lifestyle. Now, let's talk about setbacks, because they will happen. There will be months where unexpected expenses hit you hard. There will be times when you lose motivation. There will be moments when you fall back into old habits. That doesn't mean you failed. It means you're human. The difference is how you respond. Undisciplined people use setbacks as an excuse to quit. Disciplined people use setbacks as a reason to adjust and keep going. They don't say, I messed up, so it's over. They say, I messed up, so I need to do better. That mindset is everything. Because success is not about never falling. It's about always getting back up. Now let's talk about time. Most people underestimate what they can achieve in the long term and overestimate what they can do in the short term. They want quick results. They want fast money. They want instant change. But real transformation takes time. Months turn into years. Small actions turn into big outcomes. And one day, you look back and realize how far you've come. But only if you stay consistent. That's the price. Time and discipline. And here's the truth most people don't realize. Financial freedom is not about being rich. It's about having control. Control over your time. Control over your choices. Control over your life. It's about waking up without financial stress. It's about not being forced to do things you hate just to survive. It's about having options. And those options are created by discipline. Every dollar you save buys you time. Every investment you make buys you freedom. Every smart decision moves you closer to independence. But every careless decision does the opposite. It takes away your future. That's why this matters so much. This is not just about money. It's about your life. Now imagine this. Imagine a version of you, 5 years from now. No stress about bills. No panic at the end of the month. Savings in the bank. Investments growing quietly in the background. Confidence in every financial decision you make. Peace of mind. That version of you is not a dream. It's a result of the choices you start making today. Because your future is being built right now. In the decisions you make daily. Not in big moments, but in small, consistent actions. So here's what you need to do. Start today, not tomorrow, not next week. Today, track your spending. Create a simple plan. Cut one unnecessary expense. Save a small amount. Make one disciplined decision. That's it. Don't overcomplicate it. Because success doesn't come from doing everything at once. It comes from doing the right things consistently. And as you do this, something powerful will happen. You'll start to trust yourself. You'll start to feel in control. You'll start to realize that you're capable of more than you thought. And that confidence will push you further, step by step, day by day, until one day, you're no longer the person who struggled. You're the person who figured it out, the person who took control, the person who built something real. And when that happens, you'll understand something very important. You were never truly broke. You were just undisciplined. And once you fix that, everything changed. So, don't wait. Don't hesitate. Don't make another excuse. Because the life you want is not far away. It's on the other side of discipline. And it starts right now.